So, Ghost in the Shell toys with a really interesting concept. This idea that if we were to take the intuition of a human being and somehow be able to successfully merge that with the superior strength of a machine, we might be left with this unstoppable cyborg of sorts. The idea feels somewhat like a dark reimagining of the theories and philosophy of Ray Kurzweil, arguably the world's most eminent technologist and futurist, who has written in great depth about the inevitable merging of humans and machines. Kurzweil claims that this eventual conflation of biology and technology is totally unavoidable and absolutely necessary if the human species wishes to maintain its dominance. Because if we don't merge our bodies with it, then technology is eventually going to begin evolving at a speed that we won't be able to keep up with. In order to do that, we have to physically become one with it. Scary, but fascinating, because who knows the impact that could potentially have on our biology. I mean, one day, disease or death even could be a thing of the past. Now, if these theories were to be represented by, say, a giant body of water, then Ghost in the Shell is merely the tip of the toe that just barely taps its grand surface. And that's not just because these ideas are so huge in comparison to a single movie, I'll admit they are, but also because Ghost in the Shell just doesn't even attempt to get in. Now, I cannot speak for the graphic novel, and I know the Japanese manga that this film is based on was extremely successful, but what I can say about this movie is that it has to be one of the flakiest pieces of sci-fi cinema I've come across in a long time. I mean, this thing just crumbles at the gentlest touch or the slightest mishandling, and its story is just too shallow to support an hour and 45-minute runtime. Scarlett Johansson plays Major, a cyber-enhanced super soldier. Her body is that of a cyborg, while her mind has allegedly been rescued from a human in a terrible accident. This combination of human intuition and deadly robotic capabilities makes her one of a kind, and not to mention extremely deadly. Major quickly discovers a terrorist threat, and in the process of tracking its members down, begins to discover that she's not exactly what she was told to be. That is, her mind was stolen, not rescued. But I'm guessing you're not too shocked to hear that. Here's the first sign of a shitty sci-fi action film. The protagonist, early on in the movie, takes on the role of a detective, almost. And they start solving a mystery that you, as an audience member, either one, don't give a shit about, or two, even worse, you've already solved in your head. A good sci-fi action film, however, might be described in the likeness of a river, with rapids that gradually increase in size and severity, and twists and turns that become tighter and more acute as the journey downstream continues until you're eventually faced with one massive waterfall after another. The Matrix is a perfect example of this kind of crescendoing action, and maintains suspense even in its less eventful portions, up until the last 45 minutes where it's just non-stop spectacle. Ghost in the Shell is just mostly flat. And I'm not even the type of person that necessarily needs a lot of action. I love my dramas and my dialogue and my character development. But I do need suspense, and I think movies require tension. I want to desire to know what is around the next bend. And that's enough of the river metaphor, but you get what I'm saying. And here's the thing, if the story is lackluster and I paid $18 to see you on a big screen, then I at least deserve a guilty pleasure of sorts. Something dumb but also fun. I mean, give me some nudity or some gore or some thoughtless action. And it's that last category that I am especially disappointed with Ghost in the Shell, because I was at least certain that I was going to get to see this sexy lady whoop some serious ass. No matter how shallow the story might ended up being, I was positive I'd have something visceral to take home afterwards. The sad truth is that Scarlett maybe kicks ass for, I'm not kidding, a total of 15 minutes. Now, if you have recently seen the movie and you want to correct me on that, please go ahead. But I'm just going based on what it felt like after it was over. It felt like there was just really little punch to the film. And even when she does kick ass, It's really just mediocre and fleeting and over so quickly. For example, there's this part where she's like attached to this stripper pole and she's just kind of like kicking and spinning around on it and fighting these dudes. I mean, it's just the lamest action set piece I've seen in a really long time. And then when that's over, it just steers us directly back into this really just boring mystery that you and I probably already know the answer to anyway. I mean, Troll 2 probably has more thrust than this movie. So what about the visual effects then? The story isn't great, the action is barely there, but the effects are at least cool, right? To be fair, there are maybe 2 moments where I was a little impressed. The cityscape was somewhat cool to look at, and there was obviously a ton of painstaking detail that went into work here. But overall for me, it still failed to rectify even the film's smallest sins. I felt like they just peppered every street corner with these spinning holograms, which were kinda cool, I guess, but this massive world somehow felt estranged from the rest of the film on a scene-by-scene level. I guess I was expecting it to exude a little bit more style and contain twice as much grit as it did. I was desiring something intense and strange, and personally felt what I got was a cartoon, almost with occasional hints of the greatness it could have been. Now, I know I've been giving this movie a lot of shit, and the truth is, I don't really have much nice to say about it. But if you did happen to like it, I hope I didn't ruin it for you, because I don't take anything that I say to be fact, no matter how impassioned I may say it. And maybe, you came at it from a different perspective or a different set of expectations. Maybe you loved the graphic novel, and I can completely understand that. But in my humble yet public opinion, Ghost in the Shell just kind of fucking sucks.